Governor Scott Walker facing another Republican on the primary ballot, but how serious a challenge will it really be? That is tonight's top story. Good evening, I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. Thanks for joining us. News 3's Theo Keith has more on the governor's latest opponent in our campaign 2012 coverage.
Well, Sarah, his name is Arthur Cole Riggs. If you remember his face from the Capitol protests last year, we wouldn't fault you. Cole Riggs was a major player in the protests. Now, calling himself a progressive Republican, he's running against the governor.
I identify as a Republican.
Wait, what?
And I identify Scott Walker as the fake Republican. He doesn't embody any of the values or of the party of Lincoln. He's an extremist and a radical.
The company he keeps might speak differently. Cole Riggs was prominent at Walkerville protests last year, and here he is with recall forces as he turned in signatures, throwing his hat, a Lincoln top hat, into the Republican primary.
I think it has strayed too far from its progressive roots, so I'm hoping to bring it back to the party that it used to be.
I don't think Republicans need any extra incentive to vote for Scott Walker.
UW political science professor John Coleman says Walker shouldn't be threatened. Republican voters overwhelmingly support their governor, and Democrats focused on electing their own candidate May 8th aren't likely to cross over and vote for Cole Riggs on the Republican side.
All of these things that we talk about with these crossover votings and this kind of mischief in campaigns, it's always happening at very small numbers at the margins.
I think people are tired of being lied to.
Cole Riggs says he'll run a campaign based on honesty, saying that all sides should have a place at the table. When asked about his challenger, the governor shook his head and said this.
This election is not going to be about those sideshows. It's really going to ultimately about whether we're going to go backwards or forwards. I think it's pretty clear if you look at what happened in the past. We had double-digit tax increases in the state. We had billion-dollar budget deficits. We had record job loss. I don't think people want to go back in time to that, and yet for all of our opponents, that's what they're talking about.
Wisconsin's open primary makes that kind of crossover voting possible. Political scientists say Rick Santorum actually got some votes last week because of it, but it will not be enough, they say, to throw either the Republican or Democratic gubernatorial primary to one of these other candidates.
But it will be interesting to watch.
It will.
All right, thank you, Theo.